Hi, I am Anjal Chaudhary, and I am a PhD student in Dr. Senthil Kumar Muthappa's lab at NIPGR. Today, I will be briefly discussing about the methodology that we have established for co-imposition of drought and bacterial stress in plants. To give you a brief background, in the field, plant encounters abiotic and biotic stress factors at the same time, and drought is one of the important stress factors that not only affects the plant growth and productivity, but it also influences the plant pathogen interaction and the disease outcome. In this presentation, we will be focusing on the effect of drought on the plant's responses against bacterial pathogens. Now, the presence of drought can either enhance the disease severity or it can reduce the disease severity, and it depends upon the timing, duration, and severity of the two stresses and the plant and pathogen species in question. Now, owing to the growing water scarcity problems and the global climatic changes, we can expect these two stresses to co-occur frequently in the field. Why are the actual combined stress needed? It's because the plant's response to single stresses, in this case drought and bacteria, is completely distinct from the plant's response that we see under combined stress. And for this reason, the single stress studies they are insufficient to draw conclusion about the responses that are uniquely seen only under the combined stress situation. However, these combined stress studies are not undertaken frequently, and the major bottleneck is the unavailability of an efficient protocol for high throughput plant phenotyping under combined stress. The major reason is that the development of drought in the field and the perception of the drought by plants, these are very slow and gradual processes, while the bacterial infection and the disease development, they are, in comparison, they are very quick processes. So simultaneously inflicting these two stresses at the similar intensity is a tricky thing. So, in our lab, we are trying to dissect how the presence of drought influences the interaction of a very well established plant pathosystem, Arabidopsis thaliana and Pseudomonas syringae. The Pseudomonas syringae is the gram negative bacteria, and it enters the plant cell via openings such as stomata or wounds or hydatodes, and the plant, when it senses its presence on its leaf surface, it closes its stomata in defense. This is the first line of defense. And bacteria, in retaliation, it uses certain chemicals. For example, certain bacterial species they use the jasmonic acid analog such as coronitine, and which forces the stomata to open, and bacteria gains entry into the plant cell, and they reside in the apoplastic region, and they derive the nutrients and water from the surrounding mesophyll cells. So there are a lot of methods that are routinely used in the labs. However, they are limited in their use because of several reasons that we will be looking at in the subsequent slides. One of the most routinely used method is the syringe infiltration, which is a very effective method. However, the major problem is that in this method, you use pressure to infiltrate and put the bacteria directly into the apoplast. So you are completely bypassing the natural mode of infection of this bacteria, and you this method is not suitable for studying pre-invasive defenses such as stomatal and cuticular defenses, which are not only important defenses against the bacterial pathogens, but an important defense against the drought stress also to minimize water loss. Now, since you're pressure infiltrating the leaves here, you are mechanically injuring the soft leaf tissue, and hence it requires expertise to do it while minimizing the damage, and it is overwhelmingly time consuming and it's labor intensive. Another method is spray inoculation, where you spray the bacterial inoculum onto the plant rosette, and it allows you to study both pre-invasive and post-invasive defenses. However, the problem here is that it is very difficult to avoid mechanically injuring the plants when you are spraying the adaxial leaf surfaces where most of the stomatas are present. Another important method is vacuum infiltration. Again, because it requires cumbersome and bulky equipment such as a vacuum chamber, and like you cannot use it for high throughput assays. Another method is flood inoculation. As you can see here, the method is very suitable for inoculating small seedlings and the seedlings grown on MS media. However, you cannot use it for soil grown and adult Arabidopsis plants. There are certain studies which, in order to induce drought rapidly, they use osmolytes such as polyethylene glycol. And while they work, there are major limitations with using these osmolytes. One of them is that these osmolytes, such as PEG, they decrease the water potential of the growth medium and they disrupt water absorption by the roots. However, when the plant faces the actual combined stress in the field, it there are a lot of responses that the plants show. For example, closing of stomata, reducing transpiration, and so these kind of nuances are lost when you are inflicting the stresses, the drought stress using these osmolytes. So it fails to stimulate the actual stress scenario that we see in the field. So, in order to address all these limitations, we have developed an efficient and a high throughput method for the simultaneous exposure of drought stress and bacterial infection in plants. We've published this in applications in plant science recently. So, our major requirements before initiating like the study was that we needed a method that where we could stimulate the natural mode of stress occurrence as close as possible. We wanted to keep the mechanical injury to the minimum, and we wanted a method that is suitable for studying both the pre and the post invasive defense strategies of the foliar pathogen. And we wanted to be able to use this method for several plant species and several bacterial species. And we wanted a simple, a very rapid, and a very inexpensive, like a cheap method. And most importantly, we wanted a protocol that is amenable for high throughput phenotyping screening. So we identified that dip inoculation ticks a lot of these boxes. So you simply grow the plants in a pot, and when they reach a desired age, you simply invert the pot and you dip the plants into the bacterial suspension, and you allow the infection to progress. So this is the schematic representation of how we impose combined stress in the plants. So these are the control treatments, and this is the combined stress treatments. The control plants are kept in at 100% field capacity. Field capacity refers to the soil moisture status. So these plants are kept at 100% field capacity or 100% soil moisture status throughout the experiment. They are all watered. And while as you can see here, these mock and pathogen controls also, they are kept in well watered condition throughout the experiment. So when the plants are of 37-day, when the plants are 37-day old, you simply invert the pot and you dip the plants into the bacterial suspension and you allow for the next 3 days the infection to progress. For mock inoculation, you simply take water in a container and you add a sylvate, and you inoculate, yeah, like you dip inoculate the plants, and to see that the response that you see here is not because of the addition of the sylvate. So in case of drought, when the plants are 30 days old, the well watered plants, we stop watering these plants, and we allow the drought to progress gradually throughout the experiment. And when the plants are of 37-day old, and they are at a moderately severe drought stress level at 40% field capacity, you again invert the plants and dip it into the bacterial suspension, and you allow the drought to progress. Now we use special containers in this experiment. One to make the protocol amenable for high throughput screenings, and two to prevent the potting mix from getting wet when you are inoculating the plants into the bacterial suspension. So either you can use single pots which are open from the top, or you can use array trays. They come from 5 pots to 50 to 100 pots in a single tray. And or you can use screw capped containers, as you can see here. So what we do is that we take these screw capped containers, we create three holes at the bottom so that which will allow the water absorption, and one at the top where you will sprinkle the Arabidopsis seeds. So you fill all the soil, all the pots with equal amount of air dried soil, and then you bottom irrigate these pots, and you allow them to uh, you allow them to take up water, and you note down the dry weight of the pot with dry soil and the saturated weight of the pot with the soil, and you sprinkle Arabidopsis seeds, and after a point you remove the extra plants and you leave only one plant so that there is one plant per pot. And as mentioned earlier, when the plants are of 30-day old, you stop watering them, you withhold the water, and when they are 37-day old and at the desired drought level, which in our case is a severe drought stress for the plants, 40% field capacity, you simply put a blob of 2% agarose just around the plant to seal off all the open spaces around the plant. As you can see here, there's a small agarose plug here, and then you invert the pots and you dip them into a bacterial inoculant, and for 2 minutes, and then you allow the drought and infection to progress simultaneously. So in case of the pots that are open from the top, you can fill them with equal amount of air dried soil, and then you can cover them with a nylon mesh. It's very easily available, and again you allow single plant to grow per pot, and then you when they reach the desired age, you allow the drought to you initiate drought by withholding the water, and when they reach severely drought stress level, you cover uh, the potting mix around the plant with a black plastic sheet. You cut them in small pieces and then you cover it from all the sides, and you pour a small agarose plug just around the plant, 2% agarose plug, and again you take a bacterial suspension into trays, and it allows you to dip a lot of plants at the same time, and you can simply invert the pot and dip it into the bacterial suspension, and you allow the stress to progress. So in our case, we found that the plants at that are severely drought stressed, they show less infection. As you can see here, the less chlorosis in the combined stress plants. You can also see that the drought stressed plants had less in-planta bacterial load, and however, the plants that were subjected to both the stresses, the electrolyte leakage was higher. You can see here that the relative water content at 3 dpi was similar in the drought stress plant and the combined stress plant, which shows that the dip inoculation does not change the water status of the potting mix. So the advantages of these methods is, as I mentioned earlier, this is like we have used the methods which are closest laboratory approximation of the natural infection route, that is through stomata, and we are allowing drought to progress gradually in the experiment, which happens in the field as well. And because you're dipping the entire rosette into the bacterial suspension, the bacterial infection is uniform in all the leaves, and there's no mechanical injury to the plant, and you do not require any expertise to be able to do this method in the lab, and plus you can inoculate a large number of plants at the same time and in a very small time, so it is very convenient, and all the materials that is required to be able to do this inoculations via this method, they are very low cost and easily available in the lab. No bulky or costly apparatus is required. And again, the array trays that I showed you in the previous slides, we have used only the array tray with 5 pots, but they come in all the sizes from 5 to 50 to 100 pots. And if you want to inoculate a large number of plants at the same time, even if you're not doing a combined stress experiment, the researcher can do it within 2 minutes, which is less than the time required to syringe infiltrate a single plant. So here you are infiltrating almost 5 to 100 plants within the time you are syringe infiltrating a single plant. Then using screw capped containers has its own advantages. First of all, the screw capped containers, as well as when you are covering the potting mix around the plant to prevent water from entering the plant, it has its own advantages. It does not allow the water status of the potting mix to be changed. And most importantly, the water loss that is happening, it is only happening via transpiration and not via evaporation. So it allows accurate calculations of water use efficiency and transpiration efficiency in drought stress studies when you are comparing different genotypes. Then you can flexibly use this method for studying both the pre and the post invasive defense layers. And you can use it for 2 week old plants, and you can like study till 5 to 6 week old Arabidopsis plants very easily. Then you can it's especially very useful for infiltrate like infecting genotypes where the plant's physiology is difficult to like it's difficult to pressure infiltrate the leaves of certain plants. For example, if you talk about the the ABA mutants or salicylic acid overexpression lines, the leaves are very small, the leaves are very curled, and it's difficult to pressure infiltrate these leaves. So dip inoculation is the easier choice here. And then because it's high throughput, you can use it for development of phenome resources, not just under combined stress, but also under individual bacterial stress or the drought stress. Then you can use it for several plant species. As you can see here, we have used it for tomato and we have used it for Nicotiana. And you can use it for several foliar pathogens such as Salmonella or Xanthomonas. These are some of the resources and literature that I've listed out, which you can refer for going through the different modes, different protocols that are available. So I thank my institute NIPGR and my funding body DBT, my PhD supervisor Dr. Senthil Kumar Muthappa, and for video production I thank Mr. Vishnu Babu for helping me with the preparation of this video. Thank you.